So I would like to welcome some of the ladies that we'll be having on the QA panel today. Can I have Rebecca come and sit down? Christine, can you come take a seat? Coco? And Sylvia. So these are some of the wonderful real-life people who went and experienced the events of this film, and actresses as well. So FORTIS FEMINA, first and foremost, welcome to the Q&A for the FORTIS FEMINA film. The premiere date is going to be June 25th, and the red carpet begins at 4 p.m. So you're able to come and watch the cast and crew walk the red carpet. The screening of the film is going to take place at 5 p.m. and will end around 6:45. That's when we'll begin the Q&A for the cast and the crew, is at 6:45 p.m. And then afterwards, there's going to be an after party here at 7:15, right here in the bar and lounge area at the Look-In Theaters. So we'll look forward to seeing you on June 25th. So ladies, how are you feeling right now? Excited? If Christine, since you have the mic, if you want to give a synopsis of the FORTIS FEMINA movie, how would you describe it?
Definitely a healing journey. We have our own stories, even though there were 7 of us in the film, 3 of us actually did our own acting. And for me personally, it was very painful to go through it again, but very healing afterwards. And I think we all bonded even more so because of what we went through for so many days.
How long did the filming take place?
I think it was 12 days. Okay, 11. It was still a long time. A lot of hours, a lot of time.
That is a long time. I wanted to read the synopsis of the film before we get into the questions. So, the natural beauty of Sedona, Arizona provides the backdrop for this unusual weekend getaway that is designed to change the lives of these 7 women. Coming from divergent backgrounds, they're about to be united in a way they weren't expecting. They find through shared struggles and secrets, collective strength to face their past, courage to conquer their fears, and inspiration to become the stronger and better versions of themselves they long to be. That is beautiful. Just on that, I want to cry a little bit. Okay. Let's start with Christine. What was it like to play yourself?
I didn't know that I had to dig so deep inside of myself to play this part. I actually had a hard time when I first did my scene. We have all these scripts, practice, practice, practice. I got this. But when you actually went into mode of being videoed, I had a hard time. I won't lie, I had a hard time. But it was well worth it.
Beautiful. Coco, what was your experience doing something like this for the first time? Have you ever acted before? How did you prepare yourself?
Well, I'm having experience with doing podcasts in Spanish, so I guess I was already exposed to the camera. So yeah, now you become to do a movie, we prepare. I remember for 2 months and a half, we had lessons every Tuesday at 6 p.m. And I will tell you, I never missed one class. And I think that gave me the confidence to do it. And then when you are at the scenes and you watch what the other ladies does, that'll give you motivation for me to bring the best of me. And I feel that it was coming so natural that I forgot I was filming. I really enjoy it.
What did you guys do on these 6 p.m. classes to prepare?
Well, we had a professional that she would come to teach us her experience, and she would give us homework to do, so we go back and practice. And then next week we had applied the homework that we have. And basically, I would go back home and I would talk by myself, to me, and in front of the mirror, and I would practice.
So when it came to memorizing lines, is that something that you had to do before?
Uh, well, we always need to memorize no matter what. When you are talking, even in the podcast radio, you need to prepare. So I was more, a little bit, how you say the word, concerned about my accent. So for me, that was the challenge more than even act natural. That was like, okay, take your time. So what was one of the things that I learned there? It was to take my time to slow down, and with that, people was able to understand my accent. So the learning path was easy. I was more practicing about the words, how I'm gonna say it, and they're gonna come correct. Just take your time.
And I think that it's beautiful that you do have an accent because so many people can relate to that point of view of having an accent, maybe not quite being able to communicate as clearly as they would like or being misunderstood a lot. So I appreciate that this film kind of brought that side of, the world of what goes on. So thank you. Rebecca, what is the reason that you decided to make the jump and share your secrets with the world? Because everyone's going to be able to watch this. It's going to go to festivals. What made you make that decision?
Well, I kind of always been pretty open about my life and my story, but I think it's good that we had the opportunity to explore the different facets of multiple different women, different topics that women deal with, and bring them out so that people know that it's okay to, like put yourself out there and let people know that, because people want to support other people. That's just, but when you don't always know that there's people there to support you. You think, like, I don't want anybody to know that, I'm going through these things. But really, everybody's going through something or has gone through something. And so when you kind of make yourself transparent, it makes you more human, and then it actually opens the door for them to open up about their things too. So if we can just learn that the more that we are open and transparent, the more someone else will have the opportunity and feel comfortable and safe to do it as well.
I love that. Were you surprised at any of these women's stories and what they had to share?
Well, I think everybody is always surprised at, just the power that women really truly have in overcoming obstacles. Well, men too, but I'm just saying, like, I believe that most women have a backstory or something that's come, whether it be through family or other circumstances, and they overcome those things, and they become stronger, and they become the women that they are, and then they can pass those, skills and knowledge that they've learned from that onto other people. And I think that's a blessing too, that we can give to everybody.
I love that. Sylvia, what was the most difficult scene for you to film?
Filming at like 1:30 in the morning. Ask Matish, I couldn't remember anything.
Brain fog.
Oh yeah, I had a senior moment. I think it wasn't difficult as far as in the scene, because as an actor, you prepare yourself to be in character, to stay in character, to memorize your lines. But there was times, like I was saying, it was late, I was tired, and as an actor, there's a time where sometimes you just have a moment where your brain freezes, you just can't think of anything. But I think one of all of ours most difficult was standing in that cold river.
Is that what the photo on the
Yeah,
slideshow? I saw
yeah.
that.
But we did it, and which is a great example of mind over matter. We knew we had to just do it, just like anything in life. You have to sometimes step in that cold water and bear down and deal with it. And this is what I think basically this whole movie is. Bear down and deal with it, and you'll get through it. And that whole thing was about the water flowing and going around our obstacles and just going with the flow. And once we were in there for a while, at first it was real hard and it was really cold staying there, we got used to it and realized that if we can do this, we can do anything, right?
And you have the most dialogue.
Oh my God, that was it too.
Your teeth are chattering.
Trying to remember everything was probably, but it was just a beautiful experience for all of us.
So you did not play yourself. You played a different role. What role did you play?
The fabulous Betty.
The fabulous Betty. And what was it like for you to get into her role? Did you meet with her beforehand?
A little bit I did. I wish I would have met with her more often because I felt like I wanted to get to know her character better so I could get into the role better, but we only had like 2 weeks. And that's, as an actor, when you go into anything, because I have a strong theater background, and usually we have 2 months to prepare. We had, 2 weeks? And so while on set or off set, I would just kind of gaze back and look to see what her mannerisms were and, trying to, I think what was hard for me was getting the accent down. But anyway, they decided to, just fix it. But,
At least you tried.
yeah, well, it was, but I just felt so honored to be able to play Betty because she's just such an amazing person.
Have you ever played a real life person before?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I've done everything from a swamp thing to a snake to, because I started in community theater, so I played people before. So, anyway.
That's incredible. Christine, actually, I'm going to ask all of you guys this question, but we'll start with Christine. Was there a scene that you thought you wouldn't be able to get through? Because this is a very emotionally heavy film, as we'll all see on June 25th. What scene really, a scene that you filmed and maybe that you saw someone else going through as well?
We're not supposed to give too much detail, but one of the times, I think it was the last day that we were doing filming, it was 1:30, I think, in the morning, and I and the young lady that was in the scene with me, we were on the concrete. It was cold, so my butt was frozen. But that scene, because of my story, was the most difficult. And then to hear retake, 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 and I'll be honest with you, my mind keep going, why? I did it once. I got over it. Why do we keep doing this? And then when you see the film, you'll understand why. Bring Kleenex, by the way, because we all have something that will make sure you cry about in what we're doing. But that was the most impactful because that's my story.
I love that. Rebecca, for you, for your most difficult scene to film, I guess, what was kind of running through your mind as you were filming it and then afterwards when you finished?
Well, to be honest, the day that was like my biggest amount of lines and everything, I was super sick. I had gotten like some kind of food bug or poisoning or something, and I was just like, oh, why today of all days? But we made it through it, and I hopefully it came across the way it was supposed to come across. I believe so, but that was the most difficult part for me. And then no matter how much you think you have worked through all of the things that you've been through, like I truly believe that I had worked through all of my, past trauma and things like that. But when you rehash it in this type of environment where um, there's still things that are unconscious that come out. And so, it was still very emotional, I think, for all of us, to kind of pull up those weeds, even in the ones that, like I've been to counseling for, some of the things that I'd been through. So, you think that you've gotten over all of those things, but truly, like when you put yourself in that environment where you're really kind of reliving it, you actually do pull up still some things that triggers things. So,
Coco, what would you say? Well, think of the most difficult scene that you had to film. What was running through your mind before, during, if anything, and after?
All right. Well, one was I don't want to repeat it because my accent or something like that. But then at the moment, it's like, okay, yes, I guess I'm grateful that I was there because I was able to release something that I was having hidden in my heart for a long, long time. And I was like the box is open and I feel good that I don't need to carry that anymore. And to get conscience and families, that is our responsibility to take care of our children. And that's the purpose. And I'm so grateful that I had opportunity because I hope my experience and my story is gonna put awarenesses and the parents and no parents and how we need to take care of our kids. So yeah, so I'm grateful for that.
Sylvia, what was the most difficult scene for you? What was running through your mind before and after?
Oh, other than the river?
Yeah. Emotionally difficult, let me say.
Oh, man. Listening to their stories and trying to keep from crying and my heart just melted with every story. And I felt like, okay, I have to be strong for these women. Sylvia, the person, would have been right there going and crying with them. But I had to remember, I was playing their leader, their person who was there to support them, and they looked to me for that strength. So there was times where it was difficult for me not to fall apart with them. And when you hear the stories and you see the movie, you'll see why. And but we pulled through it, and I'm just so proud of all of them because it just takes a lot of them to be vulnerable and to be able to wear their feelings on the cuff, and just present it and do it with such grace and confidence.
Thank you. Coco, were you scared in any way to share your story, share your secrets with the world, with the audience that's going to be watching this on June 25th?
Yes and no. It's like I told at the beginning, I was like, I freedom release something that I was carrying for a long time. The scary part is how the rest is going to take it. And, but then it's like, okay, that's the message, it's there. And it's up to the world how they're gonna, what they're gonna do about it. But that was at the beginning, that was the part, But then at the moment when I'm filming it is there. And then like she said, we need to repeat it again and again. And then some moment like, oh my God, I don't have tears anymore. And I think my heart is healed now. So yeah, that's it.
Thanks. Rebecca, have you ever acted before?
Oh, in a school play, maybe.
Sorry. What was
But
your
no,
experience like getting ready for this? Were you nervous to be on film?
Oh, I think anybody's going to be nervous, but we did the classes and that helped a lot. And, you know, like, and we were also, what helped is that we were playing a version of ourselves, some of the things were just a little bit tweaked, like some of the, particularly my story is not exactly everything, but it still makes the message of what women go through, and that's what we wanted to do, and I wanted to do that justice. Betty has put a lot of effort into this film, and she genuinely cares about the things that women go through, and I think that was important to get her message. And of course, Matesha's a great at capturing the film part of it, and so I was excited to have the opportunity. It is a lot of work, though, let me tell you. It is a lot, and long days, but I think I'm really proud of what the women did, and all the things that we sacrificed a lot of time and classes to make sure that we were on par with what we needed to do. So I thought that was good.
Christine, what were your thoughts when you first read the script?
My story is a bit different than everyone else's. For the individual who actually had to do some research on us, not knowing us personally, he was almost dead on. Yeah. And then when I actually met him, he said mine was the most difficult to do.
Did he interview you guys, or was this research that he had done on his own time?
From my understanding, it was his research on his own.
So after you read the script, and you saw the stories of the other women, did you see them in a different light? See the women, like now knowing what they've gone through and seeing how they've healed, or maybe still had some healing to do. Did it change your perception of any of them?
I'm going to say each of us, as I mentioned, we all actually had to relive those pains and dig into the weeds again, that we all end up having to take a break from each other because it was that emotional. But then it was also one of those bonding things too. We already know one another, but now we have a greater respect. And we don't walk around saying, hey, I got a big sign on me that says, this is why I am the way that I am, like it or not, right? If we could, we'd have a lot more respect, right? Or a lot of people going, no. But because we don't, we do play roles in our lives where we put the smiley face on, even though behind that smile, we're probably hurting. And so when we did what we did, we had the smile, we had the emotions, and then we had to have a timeout from one of another. We had to have a timeout, did we not? We also had fun dancing too.
I was going to say, on the slideshow that just played, I think it was Michelle who was dancing with, it looks like a beautiful ribbon. Was that just for fun, or can you tell us, was that a little scene?
That's part of her role. I'm talking about like off camera, we were having fun. We had a lot of hours. You got to bear with me. We worked a lot of hours, but we had some fun on those off hours too. We had to, because we couldn't be in that emotion the entire 12 days.
Yeah.
Or it would have taken a toll on us.
Yeah. What was the funniest thing that happened on set?
What wasn't? Yeah, she wasn't supposed to fall in the river. The other character was, but so we were hoping she wasn't going to float down the river because it was cold. Oh, yeah. Do you want to share the experience?
I slipped on the rock, but I don't know.
So
That's
don't
kind
hit
of,
a stone.
if you know me, it's kind of par for the course. So.
Huh?
No, I didn't really get hurt. The rocks were really slippery, and yeah, we were, I mean, Yeah, you have to be there to, when you're doing a bunch of takes, it's not like you just go in there and like do it, and you're moving or, oh, I can't see this person, so adjust a little bit, so you're trying to move, and yeah, I took a little digger, but.
Sedona is known for the slippery rocks. They have slide rock there, so.
Right.
Sylvia, for you, what was it like being on set with people playing their own roles, being themselves? They've never acted before. How was that like for you, who's someone who's a little more experienced?
I thought they did amazing. Bravo to all of them. Because, I mean, I've had classes and I've had been on set and in theater with other actors that never get to the point that they got to. Because in order to reveal and emote and have what we call an organic and natural emotion that's not fake, something that's real, not everyone can bring it forward. And not everyone can draw from an experience. And I think because they were very truthful in their emotion, it was real. And a lot of actors, in order for them to get to that point, they have to do a lot of method acting, meaning they go and they interview the person and they try and somehow reenact whatever they went through, or just do a lot of research. And they did fabulous. And I'm just very proud that they were able to tell their real story. And like I said, they were amazing.
What was the most fun part of being on set for you?
Oh, just seeing such beautiful scenery. I mean, there was things that we hiked, we saw beautiful mountains, we experienced that cold river, but even though it was cold, it was beautiful. It was standing in there, and what Becky falling would just, to me, like girlfriends do, we lift each other up when you fall. We pick each other up. That's what this whole thing was about, was the bonding and picking each other up and listening to our stories and being there for each other. And that was, to me, I was thinking that at that moment when she fell, thinking, wow, this is kind of part of what we're all here for, is to lift each other up out of the cold water, right? Out of our dark moments. And
I love that. Thank you. Coco, when you first read the script, what was running through your mind?
Like Becky say about her story, that almost everything is on the point, and my story, almost everything is real, what happened, just a little bit something there is not. But I was okay with it, and usually I was grateful that Betty saw my story was important for people to know, and that my story needed to be told, and that was it. So I said, okay. So I was grateful for that, basically.
Thank you. Are there any, I think we're about to get to the halfway point. Are there any experiences that either of you would like to share, or a point of view on this film and what it represents before we cut to break?
Well, for me, it represents that, like she said, the bounding that we create as we're doing the movie, and everybody has different story. At the end, the goal is to show women, and that when you have the support of other women, you can go through anything in life. And basically, we are here to empower to each other. And no matter for what you go through, if you have a very good support, especially when there's a really friendship, you're able to change the world. And for me to be part of this movie, it's that, right? That we are putting a little seed that is going to bring a better world for not only for us, for our families, but for the community.
What was the question again? I got caught up on Coco's answer. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Do you have a perspective of how you feel the film represents, I guess, the purpose behind the film?
I remember the day Betty called me and I thought I was in trouble. She's like, "Are you busy?" I'm like, "What did I do?" I too was honored that Betty thought that my story was something that needed to be told and shared. And it's so hard that we can't tell you guys what it is, so you have to make sure you come see it. The whole experience for me was not just an honoring, a healing, an experience, a bonding, and a better understanding about life. I'm very deep about life, and you'll see my story as to why. But when you sit and you listen to other people's stories, you'll get grounded very quickly.
I think that the best thing about it is because it is kind of about us, there was a rawness to it that sometimes doesn't come across in films like this. So there was, I think there's going to be more of a vulnerability or a rawness because there is such that connection to the stories. So, you know, not to take anything away from actors, but when you're truly talking about, you know, specific things that maybe you have gone through or similar that there's just something that innately comes out that I think people are going to be able to see and feel watching the movie.
Thank you. Sylvia?
Even though the stories are about the experiences of these women, I just want to say that men, children, women, everyone goes through something. And if anything, what we need to learn from watching this film, or if you want to walk away with something, just pay attention and listen to the stories and think about your life experience, whether you're male or female, and how you overcome. I mean, we have no control over what things happen to us or experiences that are going to throw us a curveball. The only thing we control is how we react to it. And with the help of our friends, I'm sounding like a Beatles song, huh? With a little help from our friends and a little help from whatever bonds you to earth or your faith, you can get through this. You can get through anything, and you can be strong.
Thank you. We're going to go on a quick break. I'm going to say 5 minutes. And so just remember, June 25th is the date of the premiere. Red carpet starts at 4 p.m. And then 5 o'clock is the screening. That's when the screening will start. And Q&A for the cast and crew is at 6:45 on June 25th. Patel, if you'd like to take a seat. Are you guys nervous? Oh, yes. That would probably help. There you go. All right. Yeah. So the first question is going to be for Betty. How did you come up with this story?
You know, actually this project or idea, I started that from 2020. So in 2020 we do a documentary. So after that I say I like to do a movie. And the reality is all the subjects in this movie have it, I don't have experience in that. So one of my girls say, let's go do a retreat. So we decided to go a retreat. And I learned so much from those ladies in that retreat. So when I back from that retreat, I say, this is my confirmation that I want to do this movie. Now, second part is to try to convince me to help me with a movie because the reality is it's a lot of work, a lot of commitment, and a lot of money.
Yeah. So Mitesh, when Betty came to you with the idea for this movie, what were your thoughts? What did you say?
I say the first thing, no.
Why is that?
Because, I make a movie which bring the money, right? It's a business, right? End of the day, we have art, but we still want to continue doing the business. So I feel like it's a risky, like any drama, any comedy movie are the most risky in film industry, basically. And bringing the real character and in a story like this, it's definitely a challenge to put it out. And I have a doubt like if the real character can play properly in a movie. No doubt I work with a lot of new actor, but again the challenge is still there, right? So my guess was like, I don't know why she want to do that. Like it's just better not to do it. And I know that at the end of the day, I have to work hard, like because it's my name, so I have to make sure that it's a really good movie, right? So, I have to give my not like few months. I think it's gonna be 2 years of my time to make this movie, from beginning to release in the theater and all this stuff. So it takes time. So I thought I think it's not a good idea. So that's why I said no to it.
Yeah. So what made you change your mind and say yes?
So that's Betty, right? So she always have an option for everything, till convince somebody. So I say, okay, let's make a small movie. I say, okay, let's just do it because she's saying it. We'll just make it kind of a low budget and just going on the flow and maybe more of the experimental kind of thing, because we don't have the real actors.
Yeah.
But when I got the script, we have the story, but it was not perfect. And when we got it through Lavinder, I think it was something, I see the good element of that. I think he did a really good job of putting the character and bringing the story a different way of showing that than what Barry told me initially. So I thought that it's a good idea to put some more and make a really good movie. And I believe it's a really good festival movie. People want to watch this because it's a very heart-touching story, and it's probably from everyone. Every female has some kind of story, and it's very touching. So I feel like it's really good to tell. There's no good or bad movie. It's all a story, right? So you just tell it either the action way or you tell it as a drama way. But every movie has a story, right? So we put more effort, we put more money, and we work hard, to everyone to bring what we want. Really work hard to make everything work on that area, especially the acting side of it and all that. And I work on more of the production side of it, or how I wanted to direct that and put it together. So side.
Thank you. Betty, what was the process of going from a story that an idea you had in your mind to writing the script, finding someone to write the script that you liked? What was that process like?
Be honest with you, I can do a movie and I make a script. Because it's not easy. I have a story, right? So a minute ago, you asking the girls, how, they write story. Well, we talking about the story. So what he told me, just in case you don't know, he told me, what is different from this movie? Everybody have an issue. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, I said, well, I feel in my gut, something is different with this movie. And I have the idea, my husband helped me a lot because he's a good writer. He's really good to put my thoughts in writing. But of course, it's a story, right? We have to just now find somebody to do the screenplay. So he said, let's go get a female. Okay. So we got a female. Don't work. Second one. Don't work. The third one. Don't work. Fourth one. So I ended to say, just give me a guy. They said, don't give me more females. Just give me a guy. Is a guy that have diets and maybe is out of the country or something. So he ended to find somebody, believe it or not, he's an Indian person. It's a guy. And he do very good job. So, but we talk a lot, right? Because I have to just kind of give you all the stories from this girl. So he's like 2 hours apart from us. So when sometimes he do, 10 o'clock, whatever his time mine is like 1 o'clock, right? So we going back and forth. So, and he do a good job. So when he finished the screenplay, he do something completely different than what we have it in our mind. But when I read it, I told him, I like it. Yeah. Completely different, but I like it. So let's go do it. So this is how we went.
I love that. And what was the purpose that you have? I guess what's the feeling that you want to emote on the audience when they're watching for the first time?
My whole purpose for this movie is to open conversation. Because when you see the movie on June 25th, this movie having seven different real stories, right? So we touching from sexual abuse, mental health, homeless, different subjects. So it's to open conversation. He told me this is a risky movie because he's a producer. So when he produces a movie, it has to be about the money, right? And I know it's a risk because I know the ladies, they're not a professional. I know the most of the time it's the big thing, right? The actors. If you even have it a really bad movie, you have it a good big name, this yourself, right? In this case, not. But my whole point for this movie is to open conversations because this is a movie that have a different subject, and you, when you see the movie, is to my whole hope is you can talk to your daughter, you can talk to your wife, you can talk to your mother, you can talk to anybody because it's open conversation is the big thing that we need to do.
Thank you. Mitesh, coming from the director's standpoint and as a producer standpoint, what was the process after you guys got the script nailed down, 5th time's a charm? What was the process of finding a crew, the rest of the cast, extras, where you were going to film? How did you guys go about that?
So, starting from the script, I told her everybody has a story, right? So that's right. But in a movie, you need something unique, So my point is okay, everybody has a story, but why they want to go and watch? They need to have something unique, right? So again, we tried with all the writers, and again, we went through all of them, and finally we found the guy who is, I told her, okay, this guy, I'm not sure it's going to be bringing the emotion what we want, right? It's more of the female who can do it. But it was at least straightforward what we want, and he's the professor for last 15, 20 years for screenplay, so it was exactly what we wanted, So we got it, and once we locked the script, I think we were struggling with the script actually to finish it, and we was thinking we maybe have to delay this year in March or April if we don't find right script or writer especially. So we got it. He did it in like in 2 weeks or something, and he said, okay, now we are on schedule. So we plotted everything in Sedona. So I think it was like 90% all in Sedona, because they went to the retreat, and now they're talking about the trauma. So we want something like a very scenic looking one, and like mostly Sedona is very famous worldwide. People go there
Yeah.
to visit. So it's a perfect location, and also it's the spiritual side of it. They have that war talks and all that. So it helped to bring that. So we decided that we want to shoot mostly entire movie over there. And the process was like getting the people was easy, because I worked in other movies, so it's kind of very easy to bring the crew on set. But the hardest one is like I do most of the stuff myself, just to make sure that we have the best quality on it. So I drove a couple of times to Sedona, and kind of it's new for me, because we always went to see some places, but now we have to talk with them and get the location properly, and we need to have a permit in order to shoot, right? So we went to the resort, we went to the mountains, hiking, or everything. I have to know the entire town, what is good, what is bad, and what can we use it on our scenes, right? So I went a couple of times, meet with so many people, and say we're coming for filming, and then finally we lock everything up on that. Same thing with the crew, we have all of that, and we put the word out if we don't, and put it together. So that's the basic process of starting the film. There's a lot more.
Yeah. So, have you ever directed people who were playing themselves as characters before?
No, but I have worked with the people who is the first time or doing acting. Yeah. So I know exactly how do I do it. I did another movie called House of Quarantine. It was middle of the COVID time we did it, and we had a lot of kids actually, like a group of young filmmaker was stuck in one house, and they start dying one by one from their issues. So we did it, and I find out that everybody was a new one on set. So I said, my God, it's gonna be hard. But I learned that how to get that what I want, and maybe the actor will feel a little weird that when I was not responding, but I was processing in my mind like how do I gonna look on the final piece. Because they have probably seen me like, why this guy is just freeze, or, yeah, or just taking takes and takes again, like for example, Coco, like for her scene when she was running, and there is a guy who's come, and then it was a dream sequence, right? So that scene, I think we did 50 takes, right? Because of the guy don't know how to give that expression. So we worked like 50 takes on that.
Wow.
So, but I really want it. Yeah. So actually I know how to get it. Now I learned that if somebody is really new, I know how to get the work done for them.
What was the scene that was most challenging to shoot for you?
So it was quite a big scene, which was challenging, but one of that is the one I did the 50 takes on focusing.
How long did that take? By any chance?
What we did is we supposed to do the slate, right? Like every take we do the slate and say, so we start doing that and we feel like, okay, it's not going, forget about the slate. Let's let him do it. So he comes and he gives like, hola coco, something like that, right? And then they say, okay, let's do one more, then one more. So it was not even like a cutting that, continue going until we get that expression what we want. So it was difficult because he was not an actor and he could not bring that emotion or like the expression what we want for the scene. That was a difficult one, and couple other, there was one situation and it was not one of the scene, but we got one of the hotel. And we confirmed that and said, yeah, you can come here and shoot and all that. But by the time we were there in October, they had busy time and it was all sold out. And the guy said that, no, you cannot do it. And we was kind of stuck because we already planned for having that location. So we lost that location, and luckily, I was looking for some other. Luckily, Rebecca was staying on one of the Airbnb house, and the room looked like a hotel. So we cheated that, but you can't even tell that.
Yeah. Wow. that's great. Adjustments to be made.
That's
That
right.
happens a lot.
It happens a lot, and we always keep plan B and C. Always like prepare for that. And
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of things at the last minute, something break down or don't work or this and that. So we always ready for another plan.
Thank you. Betty, was there a time or times that you wanted to quit this project?
How can I answer that? Be honest with you, I'm the type of person that I never give up. But funny thing, right, is I have two children. And all the time they say, Mom, the only reason God gave it to you two children is because you cannot handle more than that. So what happened is when we have 20
Children.
children
One set.
and said, and everybody is wrong. You should breathe, don't do this, I cannot eat that, no, that's too fat, no, that's not. By the third day, I call my husband, I'm not kidding you, I call my husband and I say, listen, I don't know if I can continue this. And my husband said, it's okay, honey, you do this for a good thing, take a deep breath and you can do it. So in the whole 10 or 11 days, I learning that I have to have patience, and I do that like I never do in my life. And I'm a nurse, and believe me, I have to work sometimes, I don't work anymore like a nurse, but I used to work. So and you have to get all the patients, to work with patients and things like that. But this time it's like I have to pull from the deeper of my soul to finish that because I almost dropped.
Yeah. How did it feel on your last day of filming then?
It's like when you have your children and then, they give to you those characteristics and your head going, and your head going like,
Yeah.
and then when they leave, you miss them. So, I learning what they eat, I learning how they dancing, I learning how they, everything. Especially when you have a 16 girls, 16 females, and
Four guys.
4 guys. It's like, oh my God. That one is a challenge. But I learning, I really love each of those ladies and guys because they do an amazing job. We work very, very hard. You don't have the slightest idea how hard we work. We work in between 17 and 18 hours a day. And the worst part, if you're going to ask me this, what is the worst part, is sitting in the cold weather. So we shoot it the whole night, and then the next day we have it Indian festival. So you don't have anybody to go to the Indian festival. So Lamo and myself, we went home, we changed, and we went to the Indian festival after we shooting the whole night. So, but it's an amazing project. I'll be honest with you, it's almost for 2 years. Matthew's really, he really do an amazing job. He's like my little brother.
Record it.
Even people think, Maria, no hay nada Indian, I'm a Mexican. Yes, I guess. But we fight. Even in the set, we fight. It's like, you have to be kidding me. I told his wife, by the time I finish this movie, I don't kill your husband, it's going to be American.
Thanks. I really want to talk about the music because the score of a film is, I think, one of the most important things. Music really pulls people in. How did you go about obtaining the music that you'll be using in your film?
You're right. 60% of the movie, to me, is music because it's how you connected with the scenes, right? So we got an amazing guys. They do this music, but this is the fun part. I enjoy that because it's a friend of mine. We go to church for almost 14 years together, and he helped me to write the music for the theme song for the movie. But I got so much fun because I'm like, can you put more piano here? Can you do more guitar here? So it's amazing. So he do an amazing job, and then we end them to kind of go back and forth with the lyrics, and I want to say, I want to have this. No, I don't want to have this. Can you do this? The poor guy, I feel sorry because he's kind of like, lyrics is not my thing, but we come up with something, I think so something good and something deeper. And then we have it, two other amazing guys, they do the music, they accord, they do an amazing job. And you're right, music is the most important thing in a movie because it's how you connect it.
Thank you. And then the last question you both will answer. You touched on this a little bit. I don't know if you want to expand. What is the message that you want to convey with this film?
I want an open conversation, right? I'm a big fan in China. I wanted this movie, what I want to do with this movie is I want to bring different non-profits. They can be part of this movie. So when we finish the movie in the credits, in the credits, we're going to have the different non-profits. And because I wanted to be a resource for people after. Because believe me, when you see the movie, you have to bring your Kleenex. That's the only thing I can say to you. Because it's conversation. I wanted this movie to be the conversation for us. Because it's okay to not be okay. What is not okay is you're not asking for help. Okay? You're going to see the story of these ladies, and the reality is, like I say, I have it with every story I know because I went through. And it's not easy to tell the people or tell the world, because this movie is going to be in different festivals all over the world, to tell the world about your secret, about the things that's inside you. I learned a long time ago, what you see and what you get is what you get. I can get less because we need to open, we need to do conversations, we need to connect, we need to accept that we need help. And now in this movie you're going to see the process of that, but so many people have problems out there, and so many females and males, they struggle and they're not able to open conversation because society put us in a mold and we have to fit in that. And guess what? Unfortunately, I don't fit in any adults and I really don't care. So that one is my point for this movie.
Beautiful. Nitesh, what is the message you hope to convey with this film?
So, again, we make this to dedicate to, all the people around the world, and, I think everybody has some story in the past, right? I think to me, I'm trying to give a message on my side. I think, this is the fun that I use it, and I want to say it to everyone also through the movie. Everybody have their issue, and there's a trauma or there's a past, something they have it, and not everything can be solved right there, right? So, to me, I think plan the future, enjoy the present, and forget the past. So because if you keep remember your past, you'll be stuck on that. So the thing is forgive, forget, and move forward. That's to me. I think everybody should follow if they want to enjoy their life.
Thank you. Thank you. Before we end, we did want to ask if the audience had any questions for either Betty, Nitesh, or any of the cast that was up here earlier. I'll just get up and hand you the mic if we do have any questions.
on over here. I wanted to ask how Betty met these women. How she found them.
How I met them, I have an organization. This movie is FORTIS FEMINA, and that one is my LLC, FORTIS FEMINA. It's an organization that we help to mentor and support and kind of advise them to learning the potential, because every single human being, we have something that we can offer to our world. So that one is FORTIS FEMINA. I made the organization in 2020, and it's how I started to screen those ladies. And believe it or not, we haven't more FORTIS FEMINA, but I choose a specific lady because the subject that we have it, they're going to touch so many other women. And it's not only their stories, it's the stories of hundreds and thousands, many million other women out there.
Thank you. Any other questions? No? All right. Yes.
Just a quick question. Are you gonna do a sequel?
If we get the same person who did the food for us, then we may make a part 2. So Lamu did all the catering for us over there. It was great.
Betty, you would do it again? Or what is, I know that you're gonna take the movie to the film festival, but.
Yes, I have another crazy project, but I need to put at least 2 years into this project. My next project is going to be more with the youth. So, we need to, we need to pay attention to the youth because it's their future of our country and our world. So yeah, the next crazy project, probably you're going to hear that in 2 more years.
We have another question.
And I'm not doing that project.
You would tell them, now that you said the things that you were challenged by all of us and the situations and location, what was your highlight having gone through with all of that?
That's a very good question. So definitely the first impression was tough, right, to go through that. But again, once I decide, definitely we're gonna make the best. And what I've seen, like everybody, there was like 22 people on the set. And everybody was so dedicated, like especially all the actors, like I have a little bit doubt on some, but I think they did excellent for, they give their best, and I think everybody was like, I have no complaint. I hear so many complaints after the production is done through Barry, but I have no issue because I think to me, when I was calling them, they were right there, they were ready to go with that. So they did excellent, and again, like we have a little bit of going longer hours, and sometimes there was a food issue too there, but I think, I forget that there was something I need to eat. So I have not even realized that, like same thing with others too, but I think everybody did a great job, and I think within this 12 days, I feel like, I created one part of the family. And I was telling Barry after the production is done, I said, I miss these people, Yeah, literally I told him, like, hey, you know what, it was so good, I was missing that. So, it was a pretty good experience.
Betty, same question.
Let me told you, we started on October 25th, so we ended to do Halloween. So we have to do something to have fun, so we ended to dressing and the whole enchilada and dancing. So don't get me wrong, I enjoy so much because I learning from each of those human beings that I spend 24/7 with them for 12 days. But I I learned it from there in a more deeper way, and I really, really very thankful and grateful to know each other. And I, thankful they let me do this. Because Marlish told me, this is a huge risk. They're not an actress. They're not a big talent. Even if you want to do a low budget project, it's going to be a risk. And I say, okay, let's do it. They take me a little bit time to convince him, but he do a good job. And everybody works so hard. I know they didn't have to work so hard because she had to be me. When the writer finished the script, the only thing I complain is, unfortunately, you do very so nice. and Sylvia, do the baby, she has a really nice, good personality. I'm not a kind of person. So I told you the way it is, and I'm very straightforward. And so completely different. So she's doing an amazing job, and she really has to memorize a lot. Now we have another for FEMINA for persona is in the movie, but she's not able to use her own thing. So she is a news and TV Marietta, yeah. So she gratefully come and tell me to teach those girls how to act because we say it's no way we can do that. And I'm like, yeah, oh yeah, it's a way. Yes, let me do it. So for 2.5 months, we teach those ladies how to acting, and they do an amazing job. Be honest with you, I cannot do what this project is if not for them and for him. And like I said, it's an amazing experience. I'm really very thankful and really grateful from the bottom of my heart because you guys do an excellent job.
Thank you everyone for coming to the FORTIS Femina behind the scenes. We look forward to seeing you all on the premiere. It is June 25th. The red carpet event starts at 4 p.m. and the screening will begin at 5 p.m. sharp. Once it's over, there will be a Q&A with the cast and crew at 6:45 p.m. and then a wonderful after party hosted here at the Look and Dine in this wonderful bartending and lobby area. Thanks for coming, you guys. It was a pleasure.
One more thing I want to add, like if you have 2 minutes, please go to the Google and look for Look Cinema, and please give the rating to them. So they are very helpful to us, and I think it's great for Chandler. We should support them, and we appreciate if you can do it. Thank you.
Woo! And one last thing. On your way out, there's going to be a QR code that you're able to scan that will take you to the website where you can buy your tickets. You're able to select your exact seats that you want. They're very comfortable seats. Thank you, Look In, again, for providing that. Like Mitesh said, make sure you go give a 5-star review to them and scan that QR code on your way out. Thanks, everyone.